Ships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today we're going to be talking about Willow for a little bit. I ran an article on MakingStarWars.net about the upcoming Disney Plus series, and got a lot of news about like where they've been filming, what the locations look like, a returning place, I think, and a bunch of loose ends and just general stuff, you know, about the old Willow. And if any, you guys want to talk about Star Wars after or whatever like that, by all means, let's hit it up in the chat. But right now, I'm going to pull up the website where I wrote this article. Now you can see little tiny me, big website. That's fun. So Disney Plus's new Willow series has been filming across Wales over the summer. I think it started about June. The good news is on the locations. The good news is the locations are as exotic and varied as the original film, if not more so by the sound of things. So yeah, I think it sounds like they're really kind of outdoing, because like the original film really feels really big in scope. It doesn't really go that many places. You kind of get like some like interconnecting scenes that make it seem like there's a lot going on, but there's really not. But oh, and some of these places I have no idea how to pronounce them. Honestly, as an American who's never been over there, a lot of this stuff sounds as foreign as anything in Star Wars to me. But to skip down a little bit, because of Lucasfilm's production is filming in Dinowick, Slate Quarry, I assume we will see the return of Queen Bavmorda's Nockmaar Castle. Now, if you remember, that's the castle from the original Willow film, where Bavmorda has the baby, and Willow and Madmartigan and Finn Raziel, dig holes and like hide the soldiers in there, and then they'll get turned into pigs, which is in a really, really creepy sequence. On a side note, as well, as I go on through this, I kind of imply it because I don't want to overstate, act like I know when I don't, but there's a lot of burned up stuff throughout these sets, lots of fires, and you see the smoldering remains of a castle set that was built on location, just like the base of it. I kind of think it might be Bavmorda's castle. And as we go on, I'll kind of hit on that some more. But there was a tweet from Warwick Davis, like, when was it, 2019? Somebody says, wasn't Willow filmed in North Wales? And Warwick Davis says, yes, a slate quarry near Snowdonia was the backdrop for the huge set that was Queen Bavmorda's Nockmaar Castle. So a little bit about the studio itself. Probably should have put subheadings in this article looking at it now, but when you're dealing with a ton of information, sometimes it's better just to throw it at the wall and see what happens. The Disney Plus Willow series is being filmed at Dragon International Film Studios in Bridgend. The studio has 4 sound stages ranging between 10,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet in size. This is where the interiors are being shot and a few large sets are being built. The production has been filming at the studio since production began, and they are currently filming, whatever, blah, blah, blah. One larger set at Dragon Studios is a castle, which has a massive gate. There is a courtyard inside with what appears to be an altar on one side and green screens on the other of the main entrance. It kind of sounds like pretty sacrificial, and I kind of throw out there that maybe this prince, Dove's twin brother, who's been kidnapped, who they are trying to save, from what I understand, maybe they're going to sacrifice him there. In the original Willow, they had to take a Laura Dannon up to this altar on top, up the castle, and get rid of him or her, so that way Bavmorda could break the prophecy and be the evil queen forever. Well, something like that has to be going on, I would think, in this one. Something to that effect, anyways. And then a village set was constructed at Dragon Studios, which looks rather medieval, as one would expect from a fantasy adventure like this. They were building around it. There were three buildings around this tree with red leaves, and it sounds pretty rad. But over the last couple of days, they've filmed that all getting burned up, and the sequences that take place are being filmed outside of it now because it's on fire. Um, when I hear tree with red leaves, if you want to get, it might not be anything at all. It might just be, hey, this is a cool looking tree we could make or buy, whatever it happens to really be, if it was fake or real. And it would look great in a Willow movie. Let's burn it up. Could just be that simple. But I kind of can't help but think, like Sorsha has red hair and so Alora Dannon has red hair. And there seems to be kind of like the original posters had a lot of red to it, like a red hue. The current ugly poster that you see on Disney Plus is like all golden, kind of seems to evoke Mad Mardigan's armor. It's okay, but it doesn't really feel like Willow, classic Willow stuff to me. And the old posters were so beautiful. I don't know why they're doing that Photoshop nonsense. But yeah. But anyways, is there a connection to this tree being burned? Does it even matter? I don't know. But it's important enough to actually get the set built physically and for it to happen. So here's where we get to see some of the locations that the production has been so far. And these names. Saundersfoot, Pembrokeshire. So that's where they've been filming. Willow has also been filming in Tenby, Pembrokeshire. Pembrokeshire is in West Wales. They filmed here from mid-July into August, and below are images of Tenby and Saundersfoot. So when I see these elements right here, I wonder if we're going to see like a port town kind of place, like a dock with water and stuff. At the same time, they could literally just be filming on this green areas, on these like kind of little islands and stuff like that, and it may be irrelevant that the water's there. But I do kind of think if you're going to do a new Willow story, you have to introduce something new to it. You can't just do the same thing you've already done. And as you can see back here on with Saunders, look back here, like all this green, you could definitely see them filming in all of these places. So would be kind of cool if you get more of the beach. And then filming also commenced at Mynid. Oh man, you guys, what are you guys doing to me? Langerner Quarry and Brecon Beacons. Let's just call it Brecon Beacons. And at Pontcysyle Reservoir, South Wales in August. They filmed at the Brecon Beacons in June. So this stuff right here in the back looks a lot like kind of what you would expect from the Knockmar Castle kind of jazz, And then right here we have another picture of one of the quarry. In August, they filmed at Malera's Quarry, Mithril Tenderfill, including day and night shoots at Morales and Pontcysyle, both located in South Wales. This one right here, Morlae's Quarry in Maynard. Ooh, sorry, guys, this stuff is impossible. Sets appear to show the remains of a burned-out castle. They're actually built little stone structures too. I should have wrote that. I need to proofread this shit. They built little stone structures, not unlike the beehive huts from the Last Jedi. Yeah, it's like they're kind of like more like almost like pyramids, but they have like a little stone like door walkways in, and it kind of looks like they're like little ways to go underground. That's how I'm reading it. I could be wrong. I mean, for all I know, they store weapons in there or something, but it looks like it goes underground. And so right now I'm speculating that Bavmorda's castle, that Knockmar castle, has been kind of messed up. And because at the end, I think Mad Mardigan, I read the novel as a kid, And I think Mad Mardigan and Sorsha end up at Tir Asleen. And that's where everything looks good. And that's where, they're going to hang out for the rest of their days. But when we get to this one, what happened to Nockmaar Castle? And, keep seeing these like scary looking messed up castles. That makes me think it's it. And also, I don't know if they're going to keep perfect continuity to the film with the Nockmaar Castle stuff. And it's a hard read, to be honest with you. So I think we should also mention Morley's Castle. Yeah, and so this right here, they've been filming in the area around here, and there's the castle there. And what I found interesting is that Morley's Castle has these like underground, I don't know if catacombs is the right term, but really reminds me of the stuff that was in concept art for The Force Awakens underneath Mos's castle. It really has a lot of that vibe to it in the concept art, though, not the final film. So another side note, I saw some photos that we can't put out, and but it's like a beautiful white horse, and I don't know anything about horses. So for all I know, horses are the most common. White horses, you get them everywhere. I have no idea, but it doesn't look like the kind of horse that would belong to an extra that's just trying to attack the good guys. It doesn't have that vibe to it. So the main character's name, or the main hero, I think, is the princess named Dove, and then her twin brother's kidnapped, and the actor who plays Infus Nest plays her best friend. They kind of go on this adventure to try to get him back, and somehow or another, Willow is involved in that. And on a side note too, I don't remember if I read it up top. I might have skipped it at that point. Willow, or Warwick Davis, who plays Willow, he's been at every one of these sets. So this isn't going to be like a Disney show set in the universe of Willow, and Willow comes by every now and then and says hi, and it's about these new teen characters. And no, it's not like that. He's in all of it. It's very much a Willow series. And still have a lot of big questions too, like what happened to Sorsha? What happened to Mad Mardigan? You know what I mean? There's a lot going on there that needs to be answered. I mean, there's a couple easy ways out. What if no one's lived hundreds of years and they died a long time ago? And Laura Dannon died a long time ago, and Willow is still kicking around, It could be something like that. Let's see what's up with the chat real quick. We got Joel. Hey, Joel, how's it going, dude? And we got Star Wars Santa. Today Star Wars Santa covered all that Hasbro jazz. I'm not really big into the products at this moment, but if you are, he covered the whole show, so it's worth watching it with him. It's a lot less boring watching it with him too, by the way. So, Spineslisov. As long as they aren't adapting the Chris Claremont novel trilogy that continued the Willow story, I will be happy. I am right there with you, Mr. Spiny. I wanted to like it. I tried to like it. I read it twice because I thought it must be me. And at that time, the Star Wars books were kind of a hit or a miss, but they were mostly good. And I just couldn't figure out how George Lucas gave a story to Chris Claremont, and it was not working for me. There are things in the story that I could see having been worked into something better, but killing all of the main characters in the beginning in a cataclysm, and then having Willow become a guy named Thorn, he transforms as he grows in magic power, I believe. It's been a long time since I read it, like 96 or something. But yeah, it did not work. It was not very good, and it was a huge bummer, honestly. So Joel says, are you watching Reservation Dogs? There's a Willow reference every episode. No, I'm not actually familiar with what that is. But if they're making Willow references, the only Willow reference I know of is in Eastbound and Down, when Yeah, I think he has a baby. Like he wants to put it wants to put it in the water or something like that. Baby from Willow, something like that. It's been a long time. That's the only one I could think of though. So Dell says, "Did you hear about a Ben Solo trilogy, or is that a rumor?" I honestly have not legitimately heard a thing about a Ben Solo trilogy. And if you ask me at this moment, it's most likely a ton of bull. You know, it really is. And I don't know who reported it. Probably don't even want to know. I don't want to throw shade at somebody or hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. But my takeaway is if it didn't come from Bespin Bulletin or maybe Star Wars Meg or somebody like that, I would not take it too seriously. I mean, and I wouldn't hate that. I would not be if I found out we were going down that rabbit hole again. I would not be upset, but I wouldn't mind a break, a little bit more of a break. Let that sequel trilogy thirst grow a little bit. Let us get a few years out from it. But yeah, why would they go right into it? I don't even know if Lucasfilm would commit to a trilogy today. Maybe a series, and you can just jump right into it and jump off of it if nobody wanted it. Sorsha was a Reddit. Yes, she was. I had her poster. I had the poster on my wall of her as a kid, along with Kim Basinger in the white dress from Batman '89. It was hot stuff, man. I think it was Starlog. It was, I think, the Willow poster book that I had. I think it was Starlog who made it. So James says, "Yeah, how's it going, James? There's a great interview with Chris Claremont talking about how his meetings with George Lucas on the Willow sequel novels. And what was his takeaway? Was it just like wild, or was it just a bunch of vague stuff and he had to make it work, or what? Because yeah, that's definitely interesting." James, can you share a link? I would love to know more about that process, even if I didn't like the books. Yeah, I wouldn't mind knowing either, because I have a feeling as we get closer to this, we're going to see a couple of hilarious things. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing people acting like those books were universally loved. I mean, I've, in all my years, never really came across true, like, big fans, Been like, yeah, I read them. I love Willow. I read them. It's been like that, but never seen anybody who was like, oh man, this is the best. But I bet you we're going to see that more and more, and it's really not that loved. I've never met anybody who loves it. According to Claremont, he was told not to include Mad Mardigan and Sorsha, but then was asked why they weren't in the books when he turned it in. That's funny. That makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. He's like, wait, where's Mad Mardigan and where's Sorsha? Where are they at? Yeah, because I mean, it's been I don't think it's no secret that if you follow this Lucasfilm stuff, especially back then, Sorsha and Mara Jade had so much in common. I mean, it was just like almost a one-to-one story in a lot of ways. At least in terms of like the arc or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and we're in like a difficult place. Like, I'm super bummed that we probably won't see Mad Mardigan in this. There's a documentary that I watched part of. I put it on and fell asleep, not because it was bad, just because I had like a long day. And I woke up, but I was like too tired to turn the TV off. I was like in that place, and it was like Val Kilmer with like a tracheotomy speaking and like talking about like about his life and stuff, and it was like pretty interesting. Also, a huge bummer. Not in the sense that like, oh, we shouldn't listen to Val Kilmer now that he's been ill and stuff like that. But it's a huge bummer in the sense that it like you probably can't really justify putting him in a Willow series in any way without being able to speak, or without you can't use a tracheotomy device. I'm not sure what it's called in a fantasy world without making it like, oh, here's the stuff. But it's people will, I think, will have it won't work. So I'm trying to get at. I think it would be really hard to swallow that. But yeah, it's such a shame we didn't get to see more Mad Mardigan because, I mean, I kind of like with Val Kilmer. I have like a weird like for him. Like it's a good thing Rob's not here today because man, his Batman that shit sucked. And I was like, why are you doing this, Iceman? But as a kid, I was like, Mad Mardigan, real genius. Those were movies, and I liked him in that hero's role, and his role as Mad Mardigan I think is completely undercooked. You know, I mean, he could have been a Han Solo style role, and in the end, it wasn't that. But I just realized that it's an early day because it's Wednesday. The Monday really messed me up, you guys. I have to go get my kids from school already. So very short show today, but we hit on the Willow article and we got it done. And I will see what my night looks like, and I will try to get on tonight and do some more Star Wars talk. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Joel says Val Kilmer was great in Thunderheart. Yeah, I mean Val Kilmer's was always great too, you know, and would have really killed. I mean, it would have, to me, it would have been as big seeing Willow and Mad Mardigan on screen together as seeing the sequel trilogy. You know, The Force Awakens, like the Chewie we're home moment. That would have been a different one for me. But anyways, gotta go, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with me for this very short show. And like I said, I'll try to get back on tonight. I think I can. And otherwise, I'll be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time talking about Star Wars, and I think with Rob and Jesse most likely, unless they can't hang, because you know those guys, they have a hard time sometimes being able to hang with this party.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show.